Let's get started. Sometimes that I just want to jot down. Can you guys still hear me? Good morning. I woke up pretty early today. I woke up at like 8. Made myself some coffee. I'm doing a bit of morning planning. I thought it would be interesting this week if I took you guys along for my new work week. And if you're new, hello, I'm Sarah. I am an ex-software engineer. It's so weird to say that. I'm an ex-software engineer turned artist. I'm actually not quite sure what to call myself in this phase of my life because I feel like I'm doing a ton of different things and trying to experiment and be creative and kind of like see where my lane is. But I feel like I've been focusing a lot on art lately, and that's why I've been calling myself an artist, just because there's no like catch-all phrase. But I shared this on my Instagram the other day. This is actually what inspired me to make this video. But ever since I quit my job, I've been trying to be more organized with all the things that I do, because I used to just do all these things on the side. So it would be like whenever I have time, kind of squeeze it in. As a result, I've been like juggling between so many notebooks. Sorry, I just ran out of storage, so I'm gonna continue sharing here, but I've been trying to get James into using journals as well, like multiple journals. But these are my 4 current journal rotations, and if you guys want me to do a journal ecosystem video, I would love to, because I feel like I've actually recently understood why people use multiple journals for different things. The ones that I use most are actually my business journal. I've been tracking a lot of my small business journey here, and I'll have like different ideas sometimes that I just want to jot down and sketch out. But I've also been trying to create like recipe guides for my ceramics. I've been working on a logo and a little commission. But I also took this the other day, which is like corporate swag, I think from Shopify, and I just covered it with stickers. Sorry, Shopify. It's just the logo was not very cute on the notepad. So I made this my scrap journal, which is like a very low stakes journal. Technically literally just like a scratch pad, but I used to always take like post-it notes or mail or different places where I could just write stuff, and I would write my to-dos for that day or like any like thoughts that I needed to remember, and I would always throw that out. And I just wish I had kept some of those notes, but it gets really messy, so I started using this just as like a scratch pad. But one of the things I did the other day, which kind of inspired this whole video, is I laid out my work streams for my top priorities right now in my life. And I think I have like so many goals and ideas of what I want to do, but it's just like everything takes time and I can't do everything at once. And so I wanted to share this with you guys before we get into the video today, because I wanted to kind of explain what my work week looks like, what my headspace, where my headspace is at. The first work stream is my art work stream, and I think this video this week is going to be very like art heavy, which I'm very grateful for. I told myself that one of the big pillars of this chapter of my life was going to be art, and I really wanted to focus on creating more art, becoming more of an artist, and like investing in the hobbies that I used to have, which was doing a lot of things with my hands, drawing, doing ceramics, stuff like that. And I have a fun update. I haven't shared that much about it because I've been so excited about it, but I don't want to jinx it. So this video is going up on the day that I'm finally sharing my commission piece. But I got my first commission and I'm so happy. I feel like I've been struggling a lot with feeling confident as an artist. And this is like my first time that I felt a little bit more validated, besides getting a nice comment here and there about like my art being really cute and stuff. But this actually feels very intimidating. I'll probably share a little bit more about it, but I'm also very grateful because I got a brand inbound from Timberland. And if you guys are like followers of the channel, I used to do like DIY videos, and in one of my thrift upcycles, I actually had a pair of pink Timberlands that I got for $5 at the Goodwill outlet. And this was like so many years back, maybe like 5 years back. And I painted it black, and that was my first pair of Timberland boots. I've loved Timberland ever since I was in college, ever since I was in high school actually. And I remember James bought me a pair of Timberland boots once for my birthday or one of our anniversaries, and I told him to return it because I was like, this is too expensive and we don't have money right now. So it feels so cool to be able to work with them in this like new chapter of my life. So I'm very stoked about that. But yeah, I'm making a pair of boots for them. I also feel really grateful that since then I've gone a few more commission requests. So I need to like sort out a lot of the inbounds that have come my way. I've been a little bit slow on that just because of my other priorities lately, but I'm very grateful and I cannot believe that I get to do this. I will say, I noticed that it's hard for me to juggle multiple work streams at once. And so this week I told myself I would focus on finalizing the commission piece, hence why it's gonna be a little bit more art focused. The next work stream is my small business work stream. And I've kind of like shared this a little bit in the past, but I am working on a small business and I'm planning to launch soon. I keep delaying it because stuff comes up. Like in July, I had a trip with my grandma and my mom, so that ended up taking up most of July. And then I came back and had this commission inbound and like just random things pile up. I already knew this kind of partly through watching my boyfriend James build out his fashion business. It's that it takes a long time to finalize everything. So there's some small to-dos on there. The next work stream is my podcast work stream. It's really hard because sometimes I think I set myself up to goals that are a little bit too ambitious. So I wanted to like revamp the podcast, bring it back for season 2 with way more guests. I realized that it's not really manageable with other things that I'm doing right now. So I'm thinking of just doing a very lightweight season 1.5, which I'm gonna try to film next week. So next week might be my podcast week, but I wanted to just do it casually, do it the way that I've been doing and not really vamp up anything until season 2, but just like keep the episodes rolling because I feel like I really cherish that space and it's been a whole summer without sharing podcast episodes. And I also miss the soju shotties who listen to the podcast, so I really want to bring that back. But don't hold me too accountable though, because I feel like I'm like really behind on a lot of things. And then this is the last work stream. So I've been doing content for almost like 5 years. Actually, we might be more than 5 years at this point, but I've always done it like after work hours, on the weekends. And ever since I quit my job, I've had way more time to just like work on everything that I wanted to do, whether it's my art, my small business, or even content. And I know to some people, it's not a respectable career or thing to focus your time on. I feel like in the past, I haven't been that proud sometimes of like the stuff I've put out just because I feel like I was playing catch up. But I've been trying to be a better creator. I've started a few series on my Instagram/TikTok, sharing my music that I like or sharing weekly updates or just like documenting the journey of being an artist. I'm trying to be more confident as a creator because I always kind of like shunned it in the past, like, oh, this is just a hobby and stuff. But I do want to take it more seriously in this chapter as well. So yeah, that's like the 4th thing on my work streams list. And I've been yapping so much, so I wanted to get started with the video. But yeah. Welcome to a week in my life as an artist. This project has been my pride and joy for the last few weeks because it's my first commission, and in some ways I still feel pretty insecure as a new artist, but in many other ways I feel like the universe is telling me that I'm going down the right path because as some of you guys know, I've been making mini shoes in the studio for the last 2 months since I quit my job. And some days being an artist feels like it's not leading anywhere just because it's so self-driven and there's no super laid out milestones, but it is the most rewarding thing I've done in my life. Especially after leaving tech, I get the constant urge to question if I made the right decision, but this just feels like a little sign that I'm doing the right things and opening new doors for myself. Good morning. James is in a meeting, so I'm trying to whisper. I have like the heaviest bag today. I have a ton of new glazes that I'm taking over. And I was planning to head out to the pottery studio to work on our first commission piece. And I'm really nervous about this one because the deadline is next week. I might not have time to glaze it, but I've been trying to rush into the studio every time I think a piece is ready to be put on the shelf. It started raining just as I was about to leave and just as I finished getting ready, hoping it doesn't thunderstorm or get worse. See you guys in the studio. The thing with pottery is it's such an iterative process, and the journey to creating this commission piece has actually taken much longer than I expected, partly because I'm a perfectionist, but also because between every session I have to let the piece dry and settle a bit so it can be in a different stage of clay to maneuver. Today my piece was leather hard, which is when the clay is mostly dried but has a little bit of moisture so it can be cleaned up and carved still without being too malleable. And to be honest, it felt almost bone dry, which is when there's no moisture at all and the piece is ready to go in the kiln. But I tried my best to clean up all the rough edges and refine some of the details. As a ceramics artist, I actually think cleaning up the piece is the most important to making it look perfect. So I spent a little bit extra time doing that. I also had some new glazes that came in and I wanted to test the colors. So I used one of my tabbies as a test tile to gauge how the color would look. And I'm putting that into the kiln to be fired at 1,000,000,000 degrees as well. But since I'm nearing the final steps of this commission piece, I also wanted to templatize it so I can remake it in the future if I want to. I started doing this with my small business pieces, which y'all might know I'm working on in the sidelines, but right now the only confirmed shoot for my small business launch is the tabby incense holder. I've been using my journal a lot lately, and I'm really glad I have this separate from all my other notes because it's starting to get a little bit messy. But basically I just traced the little template pieces that I have and added it in my section for my Timberland shoe, and honestly had a really productive session today at the studio. Okay, we're gonna do lunch real quickly because I have meal prep this week, so we have something to eat. I actually have to take the cucumbers out first because James doesn't like cucumbers. Like, he actually hates it. So I always have to take this out of the meal prep kit and put it in my bowl and then mix the rest of the stuff together.
You telling me about my cucumber deficiency?
Deficiency? Is that what it is?
My cucumber allergy.
It's a medical concern.
Yeah.
Taking out the cucumbers. And then feta. Lots of feta. $1,000,000,000. I'm rich, you guys. Sometime during the week, I also went over to my friend Amy's place to film an episode on her podcast, CEO of Life. Testing 1, 2, 3. And it was really great catching up and talking through a bit of my experiences and learning lessons the last few months. And it was also really great seeing her too, because I haven't seen her in a while. I'm not sure when that episode's going to release, but I will let you guys know. Quick intermission time. So since I've been trying to optimize my work streams lately and find new ways to be productive, I wanted to introduce you guys to the new Monday Sidekick. Monday.com is a platform that's built for managing teams, workflows, and tasks, and they recently introduced the Monday Sidekick, an AI digital worker that understands your work, thinks ahead, and takes action to help you be more productive. On top of knowing all your priorities and team goals, it's not just a simple assistant. It can manage many workflows and actually do all the complex work, from planning or summarizing a project to writing emails to key stakeholders. As someone who is managing multiple work streams, this is an amazing way to save time and energy on all the miscellaneous things that I need to juggle without having to hire an actual assistant. I've been experimenting with it recently and it feels super easy and natural to chat directly on Monday.com. One of the most useful ways it's been helping is actually by proactively anticipating things for me and giving me real suggestions. It feels really personalized and would help anyone who's like me, who's busy managing multiple businesses, projects, or just prioritizes efficiency. So if you're looking to level up your workflows and try this digital agent through early access, click my link below. Hi guys, it's Friday afternoon and I'm helping James with a little setup for a photo shoot. No, but actually James has been working on creating an at-home photo shoot set so he can do some product shots for his brand launch, and maybe I can use that for something. Probably not right now, but it takes a lot of work to set up these and that and that. I'm like a assistant. Technically, it is close to when we should be having date night today, but I guess this is gonna take place. Lately, work has been really collaborative with me and James because he's been needing a helping hand on projects ahead of his brand launch. lighting's so good.
It's nice, right? But I need that shadow to not
Hey guys, we're on set shooting for the Studio Jung photo shoot.
More like a sponsored video I have to make.
It's okay, we'll pretend it's for your brand. Can you straighten your shirt? Down. Love that. So good. Got a new model in town. Moosely. What feels really full circle is finally being able to reap the benefits of having our little studio loft that we moved into almost a year ago. It was actually a really tough move if you remember my moving vlogs, but our original goal was to have a space big enough to work, live, play out our creative dreams, and this photo studio setup is just the first iteration of that. Today, James had a campaign shoot for Suntory, so I helped him shoot, and here are the photos that we came up with, of course with a bit of Photoshop magic, but I think they turned out quite nice. James agreed to take me out for dinner tonight because it's already 8:30 and usually we cook for date night, but the photo shoot went a little long, so I'm all dressed up. Okay, bye, we'll see you at dinner. Hey guys, I don't know how much I'm gonna narrate over this, so I'm just gonna explain just in case. But I brought these back today, bisque fired, so they were all beige, hardened in the kiln, and I needed to glaze fire them, but I accidentally just like pressed on this section with the, what is this called? The shoelaces, and then it just broke in, and then so to be honest, I was really happy with how the Tims turned out when I went to pick them up, and I put them on my plant shelf just for extra precaution. This is how the test towel turned out, which I actually loved so much, but I still had to glaze the pear, which I wanted to do in a hyper realistic color. So a few weeks prior, I'd spent so much time trying to color match the exact colors on the Tims. It took a bit of time for the glazes to come in, but they finally did. However, this happened, and I was being so careful, but it was so fragile along the string, and so my dumbass brain took out the super glue and started doing this. And apparently you shouldn't do that, because if you want to glaze fire your pieces, apparently at high temperatures, super glue releases cyanide, which can be toxic. And so then I went down a spiral. And to be honest, in retrospect, I think it was a blessing in disguise, because one of the test styles for an earlier glaze that I ordered turned out not so accurate. So I figured it was actually going to be better if I didn't glaze these Tims and actually just hand painted it and tried to be creative with how I finished this piece. And so we kind of got to working, and I'm not a painter, so this was a little bit intimidating. I honestly haven't painted in years. And when I tell you I took 3 days to try to color match this and paint it properly, it actually took me so long. The hardest part was color matching, because whenever I've painted in the past, I've never had to exactly match whatever is on screen or whatever I'm seeing. So I spent a lot of time doing that. But yeah, there ended up being a lot of long nights as I was trying to figure this out. Lighting's kind of off because I have a granny light on right here on the sewing machine, but I did my best to color match it. It's not perfect, but I think it is passable. And then I need to finish everything, and I think painting this is kind of hard. I don't use acrylic paint that often, but I do have a set that I got for a corporate event. So I'm gonna be using this and trying to finish it out tonight. To be honest, I'm quite impressed that I've been able to color match, because there's so many random colors in here. They're not the primary colors. They're literally like burnt umber, raw sienna, and I've just been mixing it, and I'm doing pretty good. I definitely had to redo some of the colors, and then I got some UV resin, which I've been meaning to get anyways because I know a lot of polymer artists use that, but I've just been really scared because it's kind of toxic, and it also is a little bit hard to maneuver. I've never used resin before, but I think it's similar to nail polish, hopefully, and you just throw it under a UV lamp. Fingers crossed. I ordered it, and hopefully it comes in tomorrow, and then I can like sort all that out. But in the meantime, I wanted to finish painting our item, and yeah, so just wanted to give an update. It's currently 9 o'clock. at night, so we're just gonna probably spend the whole evening finishing this out. Again, I'm not the best at acrylic paint, and I realized that acrylic paint actually can clump up, so I've been trying to be very meticulous about how I place it. That's all. Hi guys, I do apologize, the place is a mess, but I'm setting up a respirator right now because I'm trying to finish up my commission piece, which you can probably see right there in the plant shelf. So I decided to paint the Tims with acrylic paint, and then I got UV resin, this, to go over it so that it would give it like a kind of glossy texture. I know a lot of artists use UV resin on polymer clay, so I wanted to do that, but then I realized that UV resin is really toxic and you shouldn't do it without a respirator. So I'm trying to set this up, but for some reason it's a little more complicated than I thought it would be. And it came with all the protective equipment. So I'm gonna try to figure out how this works, and then I will head over there and try to do it next to the window. Yeah. I think this is good. Whoa, can you guys still hear me? This is so weird. Like, this feels right. Kind of hard to breathe in this. Just to show you guys the status of them, I hope you can see that. But I'm gonna put my respirator on and then we'll probably get started with the coating. I was gonna open the giant window that I'm facing. I'm not gonna show you guys for privacy, but I was gonna open the windows and throw Moose in the bedroom so that he wouldn't come out and also get in my way. So let's get started. This is our getup. These are the shoes. We got everything here. I literally have my gel nail lamp, UV lamp here. And then I got a mini UV lamp too. And we're gonna use these brushes.